Hey guys, and welcome on in to another episode of Picks on Net NHL Picks and Stats. I'm your host, Terry Edelmann, at T Picks over on X, ready to break down the Saturday slate. 14 games to go over on the Saturday slate, so we will get right to it here. But before we get to the Saturday slate, we will take a look back on the last show. But before we do that, we'll get to the special. Me and Trent bets all of our NHL plays for a full week for $70. This expires on Sunday, so only 2 more days left for the special for me and Trent bets. I also have a rest of the NHL plus playoffs special on as well for anybody that is looking to jump on board for the rest of the NHL season. It's available over on picksandparlays.net. But we're going to take a look here at what happened on Thursday night. A losing day on Thursday, couple losing days in a row, ready for a big Saturday night. But Brady Tkachuk anytime goal did not cash there. Columbus and Florida, Connor Garland anytime goal did not cash either. Columbus ended up losing in overtime. The story of my night from Thursday. Jimmy Snuggerud did get a point, which was awesome. Unfortunately, I took him on Friday, and the Blues just beat the Edmonton Oilers, but Snuggerud, did not get a point on Friday, but did on Thursday. Alex Tuch did not play, so this goal prop was void because he did not play. Unfortunately, the best bet Zucker did not cash, but Martin Necas did cash, and pretty early on in the game in the first period. So a nice winner there overall, but looking to bounce back here on the Saturday slate, and we've got a bunch of games to go over. Hi, Mandy. How's it going? Big slate tomorrow. Best of luck, Terry and chat. You too, Squash. And yeah, we're going to jump right into it here. Of course, thank you to everybody that's going to be watching on replay on Saturday. Appreciate it. Make sure to hit the like and subscribe button and let me know what you like here on the Saturday slate. But jumping into the first game that we're breaking down here, of course, as usual, I'll be breaking down most of the games here and then the rest of the games on the slate segment. But Anaheim Ducks and the Ottawa Senators here. Anaheim plus 135 road dogs. Ottawa minus 160 home favorites, and a total of 6.5 here in this game. When we look at goalies for tomorrow, there's about three goalies confirmed, and this game is not one of them. Lucas Dostal unconfirmed, Linus Ullmark also unconfirmed here. Both of these teams play again on Sunday. So of course, with the Olympic break, the second half of the schedule here is very jumbled together. A lot of teams on back-to-backs quite often. So the Ottawa Senators will be hosting the San Jose Sharks tomorrow, and the Anaheim Ducks will be on Sunday, and the Anaheim Ducks will be going to Montreal. But in this game here, it's hard to predict with goalies. You really don't know who's going to get what start. Of course, normally the starting goalie does get the first game of the back-to-back and the backup the second one. So that will be something to keep in mind here in this game. When I look at this one, both of these teams are kind of in similar situations here. Both of these teams have been winning recently, putting together wins. The Anaheim Ducks was in a wild card spot. I want to say that they're still leading the Pacific, but let me yes, they are still ahead of the Vegas Golden Knights by 1 point. Edmonton, 2 points behind. So definitely still a close race there in the Pacific. And the Ottawa Senators, 5 points out of a playoff spot. And that was a rough loss against Montreal, losing in regulation, not being able to get to overtime. The Senators have had a lot of success against Montreal, especially at home, but lost that game. So now they're getting this Anaheim Ducks team who is pretty much in a similar situation. They've been winning a lot of games recently, but they're coming off a loss as well. They were leading that game. Radko Gudas, a very, very dumb, dirty play. Of course, he's suspended for 5 games, and now Austin Matthews is out the rest of the season. Very dumb decision there because the Anaheim Ducks were winning, and they were playing great against Toronto. They had let in a goal, I believe, and it was getting a little bit closer at that point. But Anaheim completely blew that game, and Radko Gudas can look in the mirror because he was responsible for that. So both these teams off upsetting losses where they had a chance to at least get a point, but neither of them did. And both these teams, after their last 3 losses, have responded with a win. So one team is going to keep that trend going and respond in their 4th game after our loss. The other one will lose. So taking a look here at how these two teams do against each other. Anaheim 3-2 in the last 5 meetings. When we look at the total here, 6.5, 1 over and 4 unders in previous meetings. Anaheim also 3-2 in the last 5 games in Ottawa. So pretty close, similar history between these two teams. Anaheim usually has a lot of trouble with Toronto, and then usually has a bit more success here with the Ottawa Senators. So we'll see if that is the case here in this game. Looking at player props on streaks here, Brady Tkachuk an 8-game point streak, but would have to be a parlay piece. Ryan Poehling for the Anaheim Ducks has a point in 4 games, 4 of his last 5 games, plus 160. And that's basically about it. Goal streaks, Cutter Gauthier got back on the score sheet in his last game, plus 188 to score here. Dylan Cousins, 3 of his last 5 games, plus 230. And Alex Killorn has scored in back-to-back games, plus 500 for the Ducks. Assist streaks, there's about 7 guys that have an assist in 3 of their last 5 games. I'm not going to go over them all, but guys on multiple assist game streaks, Jackson Lacombe, minus 108 back-to-back games, and Tim Stützle, Ryan Poehling, both back-to-back games with assists as well. Heading into this one, when I do look at this one, I do think we're going to get goals. And wouldn't it surprise me if we could see overtime in this game? You are going to hear the words overtime quite a bit on this show for the Saturday slate. There's quite a few games that I think could go to overtime. And yes, I have some draw plays, multiple ones. So we'll get to those a little bit later in the show. This is not one of them, but this is a game I definitely could see going to overtime as long as one team doesn't make a stupid decision in the 3rd period and lose in regulation. What's up, Terry? I just watched the awesome Blues game and cashed my Blues money line ticket. There we go. Very nice. You would cap it in plus 600. Very nice. Very nice. Love to hear it. Coin flip. I agree. I think it's going to be pretty close. So we'll see what happens. Definitely the values with Anaheim at these odds. Looking at Killorn, maybe plus 480, scoring back-to-back. Yeah, good odds. Not a bad look here in our first game of the day. But moving on along to the next one. I did skip one, but don't worry. We'll get to it at the end of the show. The Colorado Avalanche, minus 185, road favorites. The Winnipeg Jets, plus 155, home dogs. And a total of 6.5 here in this one. Winnipeg, 3-2 in the last 5 meetings between these two teams. 4 of the last 5 going under 5.5. So we usually get some lower scoring games between these two teams. No confirmed goalies as of yet. Scott Wedgwood and Connor Hellebuyck, both unconfirmed here in this one. And looking at previous games here for these teams, the Avalanche coming off a 5-1 win against Seattle. I should have been on the Avalanche team total over 4.5 because I told you guys the Avalanche their success at scoring 5 goals against the Kraken, and they did it. They bounced back after that loss against Edmonton with a 5-1 win against Seattle. The Winnipeg Jets had won 3 games in a row. Odds makers pricing them like they were back and in a playoff chase. No, they lost 4-1 to Anaheim, and then they lose 6-3 to the New York Rangers. Now, losing to the Rangers is not as an embarrassing thing as it was earlier on in the season. The Rangers are actually red hot right now. We'll be talking about them here coming up shortly. When I look at this one here, Avalanche should take care of business. I think Avalanche money line is a good parlay piece. Don't know if I want to take them on the puck line. Winnipeg has won 3 of the last 5 between these two teams, but I do think Colorado is the right side here in this game. But we're going right back to Martin Necas anytime goal. Plus 155 are the current odds that I'm seeing here in this one. Why are we taking Necas? Well, he scored in 5 of his last 6 games and 7 of his last 9. He's having a lot of success right now. He's also scored in 5 consecutive road games. That's just the player you love, is a guy who can score on the road when you don't have home ice advantage. And Necas has had a lot of success against the Jets. He scored a goal in 6 of his last 8 against Winnipeg, including 3 games in a row in Winnipeg. So Necas likes to play in Winnipeg. He likes to play against the Jets. He's red hot scoring right now. We'll take him. Martin Necas, anytime goal, plus 155 here in this one for our first play of the day. Makar, anytime goal. All right, let's see. I forgot. Obviously, I'll mention other players here in a second. Let's take a look. I'll start here. I'll get to Makar goal in a second. Looking at players with value point-wise, Cole Perfetti, 3 of his last 5 games, minus 104. Goal streaks, Necas, of course, as I said, 4 of his last 5 games. The other hot goal scorers are McKinnon and Mark Scheifele. Makar has not scored in 3 games in a row. But before that, he had scored in 3 of 4. So he was doing pretty well before that. And not a whole lot of success against Winnipeg. So I personally wouldn't be looking at Makar, but best of luck to him. Necas. Yes, I do like Necas. Morgan Barron has scored in each of the Jets' last 2 games against the Avalanche. Sprinkle. All right. Good luck, Charles. Don't hate it. He's due. Yeah, that could be very true. He could be. But I think I'm going to stick with Necas here. It is a big slate. Lots of plays for me on this slate. But going on along to our next game, we have the New York Rangers and the Minnesota Wild. The Rangers, plus 205 road dogs. The Wild, minus 250 home favorites. Total of 6.5 here in this one. Thank you to everybody for not sending me angry messages when the Wild lost to Philadelphia. I told you guys, breaking down that game, that betting the Wild was not the play there. I was hoping they were going to get the job done, but for some reason, they struggle with the Philadelphia Flyers. And for some reason, they also struggle with the Rangers. The Rangers, 5-1-1 in the last 7 games between the two teams. 3 of the last 4 going under 5.5. So it tends to be some lower scoring games here. 4 of the last 6 have gone to overtime. For some reason, we tend to see a lot of close games here between these two teams going to overtime, and usually the Rangers finding a way to win. The Wild did win the first game of the season between these two teams 3-1. But looking at what the Rangers have done recently, heading into this game, they are 5-1-1 in their last 7 games. They've won 3 games in a row, 6-2 against Philadelphia, 4-0 against Calgary, 6-3 against Winnipeg. So, yes, they've covered the puck line and even the alternate puck line in all 3 games. But Philadelphia, Calgary, and Winnipeg are not the strongest of opponents. Minnesota, of course, is a much tougher opponent than those three teams. But having said that, there's just no way I could back the Wild in this game. Now, coming off that loss, that shootout loss to Philadelphia, maybe the Wild respond. They should respond, but they've kind of been playing down to their opponent. Showing up against the really good teams here, but some of the lesser teams, not so much. So the way this Rangers team is playing right now, I could only look at the Rangers. Having said that, I'm not putting my money on the Rangers. But I do have a play in this game. And hey, I could come out here and I could say, take Kirill Kaprizov to score. He's plus 105. I believe he's second in the NHL in goals. Or he could take Boldy, who's tied for third in the NHL lead in goals. Both very good looks. Both not the best value. But there is a guy that does have a lot of value here in this game, and we're going to take him. No, he has not scored in a long time. But Jared Spurgeon, captain of the Minnesota Wild, will be skating in his 1,000th game here against the New York Rangers. I have to have. It's a small bet, quarter unit play, but it's plus 1,400. You really shouldn't be putting a full unit on a plus 1,400 play. So we're going with Spurgeon anytime goal, 1,000th game. When I saw the odds at plus 1,400, it's like, yeah, okay. I'm going to have a ticket with him to score here in his 1,000th game, and then we'll see what happens. If it loses, oh well. If it cashes, that's going to be one hell of a cash. So we'll go with Spurgeon anytime goal here in this game against the Rangers. As I mentioned, Kaprizov has scored in 3 games in a row, 7 of his last 10, plus 105. Boldy back-to-back games, plus 135. And if you're looking for a Rangers player with value who's red hot, Alexis Lafreniere is red hot heading into this game, scoring in 4 of his last 5 games. He had a hat trick against Calgary. Was shooting the puck a lot. Only got 1 shot on goal in his last game against Winnipeg. But it went in. He still scored anyways. So Alexis Lafreniere, red hot right now, at plus 290. Really has a lot more value than Kaprizov and Boldy. But if you're looking for other Wild players, I would look at either one of those guys. Guys on point streaks with value, Alexis Lafreniere, if you don't want to take his goal prop, his point prop is minus 120, 4 of his last 5 games. Brock Faber, 4 of his last 5 games with a point, plus 110. Adam Fox, 3 games in a row, 4 of his last 5 with a point, minus 115. I remember times in previous years when Adam Fox was racking up the assists. I wanted to bet his assist prop, and it was always like minus 140, minus 150. So to see his point prop at minus 115, there is definitely value with that. And then Gabe Perreault has a point in 3 games in a row, plus 122. Value with him. A young Rangers player, definitely playing well. Mika Zibanejad, assist 4 of his last 5 games, plus 115. Vincent Trocheck and Brock Faber, both for their last 5 games, plus 110 for Trocheck, plus 145 for Faber to get an assist. And then Gabriel Perreault has an assist in 3 games in a row, plus 220 here in this game. But it does sound like JT Miller is coming back, so that means Perreault will be off that top power play unit, which means I personally would probably stay off his props, but best of luck to those that do. I believe he is moving down the lineup as well. This game is one of the games where we do have a confirmed goalie, Philip Gustafsson, confirmed for the Wild. Igor Shesterkin unconfirmed here for the Rangers. People said in comments that they want me to say who's going to win, so the Rangers. I think the Rangers win this game, so there's definitely value with them at plus 205. Now I'm hoping for Captain Spurgeon's sake that the Wild get the job done. This game could go to overtime, and if it does, then I want to see that guy score the overtime winner in his 1,000th game. But we'll see what happens. Goligoski, it was either his 1,000th game or his 1,000th game celebration that he scored the game overtime game-winning goal. So maybe Spurgeon can do it again. Let's see. Let's go up. I had the Flyers plus 205. Wow. There we go, Sweet Pickles. There we go. Playing themselves out of the lottery. Yeah. Who knows? Maybe Toronto with Matthews out could be getting better odds there, but it's rare being happy as a Flyers fan these days, but they're on a little streak. Yeah, there you go. Vincent Trocheck point. Not a bad look. I think his assist streak or assist prop has more value. Yeah, the point prop is minus 145. I would just go with the assist because it's plus 110. And he's done that in the same amount of games. Juicy. Yes. Let's go Spurgeon. I like Minnesota to win the Stanley Cup. Ice has been in the news all year, mostly linked to Minnesota. Hockey's played on ice. USA won the first time since Miracle on Ice. Hey, if that works, I'll take it. Spurgeon, 1,000 games in a Wild jersey is crazy. Anyone else play 1,000 games just for the Wild? No. Koivu? Yeah, Koivu probably. Yeah. Koivu. Nick Cousins. Oh, actually, no, because Koivu went to Columbus afterwards, but yeah, I don't know. It depends. 2010, Spurgeon made his Wild debut. Yes. Let's go Spurgeon. It's time for you to have a big night on your 1,000th game. But moving on along to our next game. Game of the night. Let me see here. Yeah, I think this is going to be the game of the night. We got the Carolina Hurricanes and the Tampa Bay Lightning. Carolina plus 115 road dogs. You don't see that very often. Tampa Bay Lightning minus 135 home favorites. And a total of 6.5 here in this one. The home team has won 4 games in a row between these two teams. Back-to-back games over 6.5. The previous 3 all went under 5.5. So used to be lower scoring games, more recently higher scoring games between these two teams. And looking at both teams' current form, I think this could be a good game to bet some props and to maybe look at the over. Now, both teams were heavily trending towards the over until their last game. Carolina Hurricanes 6-4, 6-3, 5-4, 5-4, and then a 3-1 win against 3-1 loss against St. Louis, where they could only score 1 goal on Jordan Binnington. The Carolina offense is going to be angry coming out here after that. They should be. The Tampa Bay Lightning 5-2, 8-7, 5-2, but then bounced back with a 4-1 win against Detroit. The first 2 games of this season between these two teams, Tampa won 6-4 at home. Carolina won 5-4 at home in the first couple games between the two teams this season. Looking at some player props here. I will be honest, I should have said at the beginning of the show, I've not looked at any point props yet. The odds are just coming out before I was getting ready to do the show. So you're going to get my reactions on point props right away. I don't have any backgrounds made, but I'll let you guys know what I like point prop wise, if there is anything. Anthony Cirelli is the hottest player that has value here. He's got a point in 4 games in a row, plus 125 for the Tampa Bay Lightning heading into this one. Goal streaks, Gage Concalves has scored in back-to-back games, plus 460 here in this one. And he has had success scoring in 2 of his last 3 games against the Carolina Hurricanes. So he definitely has value. Mark Jankowski has scored in back-to-back games for Carolina. He's plus 700. He's got some value here. Then assist streaks, Kucherov, but minus 225. I'm not going to bet that. Sebastian Aho, 4 of his last 5 games with an assist, plus 105. And Anthony Cirelli Has a point in 4 games in a row, but he has an assist also in 4 games in a row, plus 240 here in this one. Don't have this one circled as a potential draw, but looking at this one here, the talent on both of these two teams, this could be another draw game, potentially. So I do think we're going to see some overtime here on the Saturday slate. Got St. Louis money line, and at number 22 made it 2-1, telling you going to be 2-2, fake sports. All right. But we will continue on along to our next game. And don't have a play in this one, but I really wanted to break this one down instead of the rest of the games on the slate segment, just because we've got some really heavy past history stats here between these two teams. So Calgary plus 140 road dogs, the Islanders minus 165 home favorites, total 5.5 here at this one. This is another game where we do have a confirmed goalie here, David Rittich starting here, with Sorokin starting on Friday night. This is a back-to-back here for the New York Islanders, who went down 3-0 to the LA Kings, able to battle back and get it to 3-2, but that's it. They ended up losing that game. Dustin Wolf unconfirmed here in this one. So you might look at this game thinking, okay, Islanders, close game yesterday, they lost, but now this is a great spot to bet on them. They're getting this Calgary team on the road. Calgary, they've struggled throughout the season, especially on the road. 10, 20, and 3 on the road this season, but are coming off a 5-4 win in their last game on the road against New Jersey. Calgary won the first game between these two teams 4-2 at home earlier this season, and they've had a lot of success against this Islanders team. The Flames, 9-0-2 in the last 11 games between these two teams, and we've seen a lot of high-scoring games. 6 of the last 9 have gone over 6.5. One game with 6 goals. So for a total of 5.5, 8 of the last 9 have gone over 5.5. 4 of the last 7 going to overtime. So despite these two teams only playing each other twice per year, we tend to get very high scoring games that go to overtime. Calgary finds a way to win. So we can see what happens here in this one. I do kind of lean with the draw. The Islanders have gone to overtime in 2 of 3 games. Obviously, they didn't against the Kings here tonight, but a 3-2 game could have gone to overtime or they tied it up. And then the Flames, 2 5-4 wins in recent games, both in regulation in their last 4, and then 2 blowout losses. So they haven't really been going to overtime, but previous games between these two teams have a lot of draw history between them here. But looking at point props, it does not look like we have any, and that's probably because the Islanders obviously played tonight. Bo Horvat has scored in 3 of his last 4 games. So he's been the hottest goal scorer for the Islanders as of late. And then Calgary, as normal, not a lot of consistent goal scorers. And by not a lot, I mean none. Igor Sharangovich has scored in 2 of his last 5, and he scored in his last game. That's the hottest goal scorer on the Calgary Flames right now. So I get why the total's 5.5. The Flames just don't have a lot of offense, so I understand it here. Goncalves at plus 480 for goal, playing with a point, and Kucherov is incredible value too. Yeah, I agree. What games did I miss? You missed Anaheim, Ottawa, Colorado, Winnipeg, Rangers, Minnesota, and Carolina, Tampa. So quite a few. Ottawa money line. Not a lot of value with that. Odds wise, what are they? Minus 160. I would go with, if you like Ottawa, I would go with them in regulation. But then again, that game could have overtime, so maybe not. But we'll continue on along with our next one, the San Jose Sharks and the Montreal Canadiens. The Sharks plus 155 road dogs, Montreal minus 185 home favorites, and a total of 6.5 here in this one. Jakub Dobish confirmed for the Montreal Canadiens, getting the start here after Jacob Fowler started the last game, playing really well, helping the Habs win against the Senators. Alex Nedeljkovic unconfirmed for the Sharks. I believe it should be him unless they give Laurent Brossoit the start. It sounds like Askarov will be out for a bit with an injury. So we'll see what happens there. When I look at this game here, odds-wise, I do see value with the Sharks at plus 155 as a road dog. But don't really want to bet against the Habs either. Not in this spot. Montreal 4-2 in the last 6 meetings between the two teams. 3 consecutive over 6.5s. The previous 6 games had all gone under 5.5. So we used to get low-scoring games between these two teams, but the last 3 have all gone over 6.5. And what do the last 3 meetings between these two teams have in common that the previous games didn't? Macklin Celebrini. That's it. The last 3 games with Celebrini in the lineup against the Habs have all gone over 6.5. Celebrini has scored in 2 of his 3 games against Montreal. And in those 3 games, 4 shots on goal, 4 shots on goal, and 7 shots on goal. So I don't know if he has something against Montreal or something, but tends to play really well against the Habs. So we will take him here to score. And of course, has also scored in 4 of his last 5 games. Did not score in the last game against Boston, but did have 5 shots on goal in that game. So we'll go with Celebrini, seeing him around plus 140 here in this game. And I've not pulled the trigger on Cole Caulfield yet. I have not pulled the trigger on any of my goal props yet, so I should clarify that. I bet everything else. The goal props I'm actually locking in right when the show is done. But I'm leaning with Caulfield. Leaning with Mr. Saturday Night because it's Saturday night. Caulfield has not just scored 1 goal, but he's scored multiple goals in 4 of his last 5 games on Saturday nights. Did not score in the last game against LA. What I've noticed with Caulfield is it's really the divisional opponents that he really has a lot of success against on Saturday night. So that, also with the fact that he's dealing with an illness and may or may not play here in this game, ultimately kept me off pulling the trigger with Caulfield, but don't be surprised if he scores here in this game. So if you're okay with the fact that he's dealing with an illness, he may or may not play, then you can take him. Ultimately, I'm going to stay off at this point in time, at least. Let's see here. Players with value. Tyler Toffoli, 3 of his last 5 games with a point, plus 105. Same thing with Alex Newhook, plus 135. And Alexander Wenberg, plus 105 for a point. Celebrini, of course, on the goal streak. And that's basically about it here. Power play point streaks. Nick Suzuki, 4 of his last 5 games, plus 135. He's been red hot on the power play. Assist streaks with value, not a whole lot. Hudson is a good parlay piece for an assist. 8 of his last 10 games, all 3 games against San Jose. But his assist prop is at minus 180. So not a good single play. Not a whole lot of assist props here. Assist streaks here in this one. Let's jump into the chat here. I'm done betting on the Oilers. Yeah, I don't blame you, Chris. I don't blame you. In my opinion, they're just an overrated team, the Oilers. And Tonight, they can't blame it on goaltending necessarily, but that's been their issue. They tried to play defense too. They tried to play defense tonight, and they did very well in the first couple periods, completely shutting down the Blues. But then they kind of let the Blues come back, and yeah, that's just not a good loss. Trying Mason McTavish, okay, interesting, because his hometown, right? He's from Ottawa, so over 6.5 minus 120. Not a bad look. I was seeing minus 130, minus 135 earlier, so a little bit of movement here. I do like it at minus 120. I do think we'll get goals. Like I said, all 3 games since Celebrini has come into the league for the Sharks, they've all gone over between these two teams. 12 goals in the last Montreal-San Jose. Yeah, exactly. I think we could get goals. Cole Caulfield on Saturday night, sign everyone up. Well, let's see. Let's see if he's good to go, first of all, or not. Been waiting on the absolute best NHL show. Thank you, Ned. I appreciate that. Much appreciated. Celebrini and Caulfield anytime goal parlay. I don't hate it. Saturday Cole. Yeah, we'll see if he plays. Newhook has scored at least 1 goal in each of the Canadiens' last 3 games against the Sharks. Okay, interesting. I did not even see that. Let's see here. Oh yeah, head-to-head 100. Or no, sorry. Hold on a second. Where is he? 43%. Yeah, the last 3 games he scored against the Sharks, he had 2 goals against the last game. So before these last 3 games, he did not have a lot of success against the Sharks at all. But something since Celebrini came, that changed. So there we go. Terry Saturdays. I guess. Hi, Fireside. Nice to see you. How's it going? Is this game your favorite total so far? No. When we're looking at my favorite total, we'll get there. We'll get there soon. But this is definitely a game I could definitely see goals in. Yes. But there is another game I like a little bit more. Toronto Maple Leafs and the Buffalo Sabres. Leafs plus 195, road dogs. Buffalo minus 240, home favorites, and a total of 6.5 here in this game. If you told me before the season started that I could get the Leafs plus 195 against the Sabres, I would be saying, sign me up. But of course, in this situation, don't sign me up. The Leafs not having a great season whatsoever this year. I think that's putting it mildly. And of course, now we'll be without Austin Matthews for the rest of the season. The Leafs kind of already looked like they were in a little bit of tank mode. That they kind of waved the white towel on the season, and now they don't have Matthews. I think that's going to incredibly hurt their confidence here. Looking at the previous games between these two teams this season, 5-3 Buffalo, 4-3 Toronto, 7-4 Buffalo. This is a game that I think would be one of my favorite totals of the night. Why? Well, Buffalo 2-0-1 against Toronto this year. Toronto had won the previous 5 meetings. 5 of the last 6 between these two teams over 6.5. And in Buffalo, 12 of the last 16 have gone over 6.5. 2 of the games that stayed under finished with 6 goals. So they were very high scoring. You could potentially look at the Sabres team total over as well. If you don't trust the Toronto Maple Leafs putting up offense. Now, they did win 6-4 in their last game. So they obviously put up offense there. 3-1 loss against Montreal. I was on the over in that game. That hurt. Their previous 3 games before that, 5-2, 6-2, 4-3. High-scoring games. The Sabres, 2 really high-scoring games. 8-7 against Tampa. 6-3 against San Jose. But off a stinker. 2-1 loss against Washington at home when Charlie Lindgren was in net for the Caps. I think the Sabres come out here looking to bounce back after their last game. And I wouldn't be surprised if the Sabres get near this over themselves. So I do think a Sabres team total over is likely a good look here in this one. But looking at player props here, Alex Tuck, is he going to play? Who knows? But I do kind of want to take him. Scored in 2 of his last 3 games against Toronto, and of course, had scored in 5 of his last 7 games. But unfortunately is dealing with some kind of an illness. So we'll see if he is able to play in this game. Hottest goal, or we'll go to points first. Matthias Maccelli, 4 of his last 5 games with a point, plus 107. He definitely has value here. Zucker was on a hot point streak, minus 123 of his last 5 on a goal streak as well. Josh Doan point, 3 of his last 5 games, plus 105. He has value. Ryan McLeod, minus 110, 3 of his last 5 games. Owen Power, back-to-back games with a point, plus 190. One of the issues with the Sabres team is that they have depth throughout the lineup, depth throughout their defensive pairs, and that can be a little bit tough sometimes betting player props, unless you think it's going to be a game like that game we saw against Tampa. Now, of course, this game is not going to be as good as the one against Tampa because in that game, Tampa, of course, fought back. I don't know if this Toronto Maple Leafs team is going to fight back to the level that Tampa did. But I could see Buffalo coming out here with that kind of motivation here. Yeah, they know the Leafs are not going anywhere this year, but you have to look at this Buffalo Sabres team. 14 years missing the playoffs. They've got beaten up by their divisional opponents year after year after year. You know there's a little bit of extra motivation there now that they are the better team than the Leafs, especially at this point. You know Buffalo's going to want to rub it in and beat the crap out of them. So don't be surprised if the Sabres do take care of business here. Assist streaks, not a whole lot of consistency. Owen Power back-to-back games, plus 270 with an assist here in this one. Thank you. No worries. McLeod point. I lean that way. I feel like that line's going to have a good game for sure. Buffalo puck line, plus 100. Not a whole lot of value there, but yeah, I do think it cashes. I do. This is a smash Sabre spot. I think so, especially after their last game. The Leafs give up the most shots on net, and the Sabres give up the 3rd most shots on net. Okay, thanks, Adam. Good stats there. So maybe potentially some shots on goal props or some goalie saves props, but that can be a little bit scary, especially if a goalie gets pulled. That could affect that. This is the game the Leafs win for no good reason. Really? Maybe. I don't know if Buffalo loses back-to-back. You don't know about that. Don't know about what. Sabres are hot. Yeah, they are right now. Not so much their last game. That was a bad game. But all teams are going to have bad games. You can't overreact to one bad game, especially with what the Sabres team has done prior to that. But move on along to our next game, the Columbus Blue Jackets and the Philadelphia Flyers. Columbus, minus 125, road favorites. The Flyers, plus 105, home dogs. Total of 6.5 here in this one. How did these two teams do against each other? Well, Columbus, 5-1-1 in the last 7 meetings between these two teams. For the last 6, going over 6.5. We tend to get high-scoring games between these two teams. And 2 of the last 4 went to overtime. Give me the draw. Plus 320 here in this game. Columbus has lost 3 of their last 4 games. All 3 of those losses were in overtime. They've gone to overtime in 5 of their last 8 games. Philadelphia, They've gone to overtime in 3 of their last 6 games and 6 of their last 12. And as I already mentioned, 2 of the last 4 have gone to overtime. So both teams trending towards overtime in the past and are in the past against each other and are both trending towards overtime right now. Give me the draw. We've been hot cashing draws lately. We'll look to do it again here between the Columbus Blue Jackets and the Philadelphia Flyers. Neither of these two teams are winning games in dominant fashion either. Now, both teams have not been playing badly. Now, Columbus probably wishes that they could be getting some of these wins in overtime instead of losing. But both teams going to overtime quite a bit recently, so we'll take the draw. Plus 320 here in this one. If people are wondering, if you're new to betting hockey, which is definitely possible, you find the draw usually under 3-way money line. And it'll have both teams and then draw in the middle around plus 300. That's what you want to look for here in this one. But looking at guys with value point-wise, Owen Tippett, 3 of his last 5 games, minus 105. He has a little bit of value here. Goal streaks, Owen Tippett, back-to-back games, plus 260. And assist streaks, not Owen Tippett. Charlie Coyle, 4 of his last 5 games, plus 127 with an assist. And that's basically about it here in this game. Not a lot of guys on streaks here in this one, but games have trended towards the over here in the past. Both of these teams, the Columbus, 5-4, 5-4, 5-2, but then 2-1 in their last game. Philadelphia, 4-3, 6-2, 4-1, 3-2. So the Flyers more of an under team, but they can go over sometimes. So we'll see. We'll see what happens here, but I like the draw. The draw in this one. Only worry is sometimes teams lose their second after a streak is snapped. Yeah, that's possible. Yeah, that does happen. That is true. Just the way I look at it is if the Sabres were playing Seattle, then yeah, I could definitely see them losing a second game in a row. But because it's the Leafs, I can't see them just like Washington, not a huge rival, not like the Leafs. I can't see them, especially after that bad loss they just had. I can't see the Sabres not paying attention to the Leafs. I don't know about the Leafs winning. Yeah. I don't know about that either. But hey, weird things do happen. So I love the draw here too. Love to hear it, Sweet Pickles. Flyers are a draw machine. Yes. Columbus money line over 6.5. Columbus better win this in 3-on-3. Zegras too good at shootouts, unstoppable. Yeah, and well, Columbus hasn't been doing good on 3-on-3. So, but yeah, you don't want to let Zegras go to the shootout. I agree with that as well. But on to our next game here, the Detroit Red Wings, plus 140 road dogs. Dallas, minus 165 home favorites. A total of 5.5 here in this game. As a Wild fan, I'm hoping that Dallas is getting red hot now so that they can cool off a little bit here in the last final games before the playoffs and go into the playoffs a little bit cool. But unfortunately for me and other Wild fans, that might not be what's happening here. This Dallas Stars team is absolutely red hot right now. They went into the Olympic break red hot, and they've come out just as red hot as they went in. Now, they were facing a lot of easier opponents heading into the Olympic break, but been having some more tougher opponents here recently. But having said that, though, their last 3 games, 4-3 overtime win against Chicago, 2-1 win against Vegas, and 7-2 against Edmonton. Vegas, Edmonton, obviously their records are good, but they're 2 teams that I have a lot of questions about. But if you look at it, the Stars, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 14, and 1, I believe, here in their last 15. Their loss was a shootout loss to Colorado. If your only loss in your last however many 15 games is Colorado in the shootout, you're doing pretty well. You're doing pretty well. On the other side here, Detroit, they miss Larkin. This team misses Dylan Larkin. And now they miss Andrew Kopp as well. Back-to-back losses against the Tampa Bay or the Florida teams. 4-3 loss to Florida, 4-1 loss to Tampa Bay. They did have a 3-0 win against New Jersey before that, and then losses to Florida and Vegas prior to that. So Detroit is a team that's really in need of a win. As well, if you look at the playoff race, Detroit is in that top wildcard spot now with 79 points. Boston has 78. Columbus has 77. So, and Columbus has a game in hand over Detroit. So Detroit could very well find themselves out of the playoffs, which would be a disaster with how this team started and how they've been in the playoffs for so long, but they could find themselves out. Now they have to face this Dallas team, who, as I said, is absolutely red hot heading into this game, but also this is a very one-sided series between these two teams. Dallas 8-1-1 in the last 10 meetings. The home team has won 5 in a row, so when played in Detroit, Detroit has won 1 of the most recent games. 7 of the last 9 between these two teams over 6.5. So usually very, very high scoring games. Dallas has scored at least 4 goals in 7 of the last 9 games between these two teams. Dallas has won the last 12 games between these two teams in Dallas. They've scored at least 4. 4 of their last 5 at home against Detroit, and 9 of their last 12 at home against Detroit. Give me Dallas team total over 3.5 plus 110. 2-unit play here in this one. The Stars as well, heading into this game, have been scoring a lot of goals. Dallas has scored at least 4 goals in 10 of their last 13 games. Detroit has allowed at least 4 goals in 3 of their last 5, as well as 7 of their last 8 losses. So when Detroit has lost, they've given up 4 goals. Past history between these two teams, Dallas's recent play, team total plus money. Give me Dallas team total over 3.5 plus 110 here in this game, in this one. But we will take a look at point props here, which I haven't looked at yet. Jamie Benn is red hot. 4 of his last 5 games with a point, 7 of his last 10, plus 105. Maverick Bork, who I may go back to here. I don't want to call myself a jinx, but took him against Vegas. He didn't score or didn't get a point. Did get a point against Edmonton in his last game. Points in 5 of 6, 7 of 9. Maverick Bork has been playing very, very well for the Dallas Stars, and he definitely has some value here. Plus 105 for a point. Goal streaks, Jamie Benn, 4 of his last 5 games with a goal, plus 340. Wyatt Johnston, 3 of his last 5, plus 138. Wyatt Johnston, power play point, 4 of his last 5 games, plus 190 here. And then assist streaks, Wyatt Johnston, 4 of his last 5 games, plus 125. Matt Duchene, 4 of his last 5, 8 of his last 10, with an assist, plus 135. And then DeBrincat has been the hottest Detroit Red Wing recently. Assists in 3 of 5 back-to-back games, and also has an assist in 4 of his last 7 against Dallas, but not in 3 games in a row, so not as recently. Let's go to the chat here. Ben Point, he's been hot recently. He has. So my issue with Ben, though, is when I've taken him earlier on in the year, his ice time is so low and he doesn't get a point. So I haven't been checking on his ice time recently, but it hasn't bothered him if it has been low ice time recently. Dallas in regulation. Yeah, I could see that. I could see that here. That's a good way If you don't want to take Dallas team total, if you're worried about goals and you want to back Dallas, then yeah, that's how I would go. It would be Dallas in regulation here. Wings fan here. Yeah, we're cooked. Sad face. Already beat Dallas this year too, so it might get ugly. Yes. Detroit won the first game in overtime between these two teams, 4-3 in Detroit earlier in December. But I don't think that Dallas has that circled and being like, Detroit beat us, we got to get them. I don't think that's not necessarily it. But they might look at the fact that Detroit's struggling right now, and this could be a team to continue. Dallas looks like they have their eyes set on trying to catch Colorado. So we'll see. Avs, Sabres, Dallas, moneyline parlay, plus 268. Okay, you can back some big favorites there. That's a good way to do it. Dahlin has 3 goals in 3 games versus Woll, and so does TNT Thompson. 3-3 versus Woll. Wow. Okay. And if you watch the Sabres last game, Thompson shooting the puck 5 bombs in a row. That was really fun to watch. The Sabres are so fun to watch, and I'm saying that a lot. It's really weird. Sweet Pickles likes Dallas team total. Awesome. Love to hear it. But we'll continue on with our next game, which is the last one before the rest of the games on the slate segment. Then the best bet. Then we'll finish off the show. Pittsburgh plus 125 road dogs. Utah minus 150 home favorites, and a total of 5.5 here in this one. Utah 2-0-1 against Pittsburgh since relocating from Arizona. 2 of those 3 games going over 6.5, and back-to-back games going to overtime between these 2 teams. Give me the draw. Plus 320 here, my second draw of the day. Here in this one, why am I taking the draw? That's a good question. Bear with me for a second. Pittsburgh has lost 5 of their last 6 games, but they've gone to overtime in 3 of their last 4, and also 3 of their last 6 on the road. So Pittsburgh been going to overtime. Utah, they've lost 3 games in a row, and they've gone to overtime in 3 of their last 4 games. And of course, with back-to-back games between these 2 teams going to overtime, including the first game between them this year, 5-4. Utah won in Pittsburgh. You don't see that kind of history. Both teams, 3 of their last 4 games, and back-to-back games between the 2 teams. And both these teams finding ways to lose games recently, but playing in a lot of close games. So give me a close game here, and we'll see who wins. The way both teams have been playing the last few games, obviously Utah's lost 3 games in a row. 2 of those losses were 3-2 overtime losses to Chicago, and a 5-0 win against a 5-0 loss against Minnesota sandwiched in there. So Utah not doing too well. Pittsburgh's lost 4 of 5, and their issue has not been scoring goals. Only 2 against Vegas, but 4 against Carolina, 5 against Boston, 3 against Philadelphia. But they are allowing goals right now. They are allowing too many goals, and I hope they keep that up here because we're going with Dylan Guenther as well. Anytime goal, plus 165 for Guenther to score here in this game. Guenther, bear with me for a second here, has scored in 3 of his last 4 games. Both those losses against Chicago, Guenther scored, but unfortunately it wasn't enough. In those 3 games that Guenther scored in his last 4, 3 shots on goal, 3 shots on goal, 4 shots on goal, so shooting the puck a lot. Guenther has scored in both games against the Pittsburgh Penguins. Both in Pittsburgh, 2 goals in the one game, 1 goal in the other one. So looking to see here if he can keep it up here in this one. But we'll go to the chat. Let's see here. Stars versus Oilers was a success, so I may have to go to the Wings game to assure your team total. Yes. Whatever you can do to help my bets win, GSF, do it. Sounds good to me. But no, I'm kidding. But go, yeah, of course, go if you can. That would be a good game to watch, especially with the history for your Stars. Utah just happy they aren't playing the Hawks. Yeah, that's probably true. And as a Wild fan who's seen his team beat Chicago, 15 of the last 16 or 18 of the last 19 or something like that, I don't know how you can get swept by Chicago. I don't see it. I don't know how that could happen. But Logan Cooley versus hometown team Pittsburgh. Okay, interesting. Terry, do you usually do 1 unit or half unit on draws? I used to do quarter unit on draws, but I did adjust my unit structure. Picks and Parlays, of course, has now adopted the Wager Talk type structure. So 1 to 5 unit plays. So now that I'm doing that, most of my side and totals are between 2, 3, 4 unit plays. Now my draws are 1. So everything is 1 unit plays unless otherwise specified. But for each person, depending on how many units you have, you should adjust your unit size and do it maybe differently than me, depending on how many units you have, of course. But yeah, I'm on Gunther too. I feel like I bet him to score every game. I don't. I like to try to bet him when he's streaky, and he's hot right now. So yeah, we're going to take him here in this one. But let's look at some other players on streaks here in this game because I did not mention any. Let's see here. Anthony Mantha has a point 3 games in a row, plus 115. He's been pretty consistent recently. Other than Gunther, not a lot of goal streaks. Assist streaks, Brian Rust, 3 of his last 5 games, plus 124. Ricard Raquel, 3 of his last 5, plus 141 as well here in this one. But on to the other games on the slate. Games that I did not break down individually. Boston and Washington. Boston 3-2 in the last 5 meetings. 7 of the last 8 have gone under 5.5. So very, very low scoring games between Boston and Washington. Both games this year, Boston won 3-1. They won 3-1 in Washington. They won 3-1 in Boston, looking to sweep the Capitals and maybe win 3-1 again. We'll have to see. The total is 6.5 here in this one. And with such a heavy under history, I was tempted to take the under here. Boston, 3 of their last 4 games have gone under 6.5. And for Washington, 4 of their last 5 have gone under 5.5. So the Capitals have been a very low-scoring team. Boston, on the other side, has been kind of up and down. In their most recent road games, 5-4, 6-3, 3-1, 5-4, 4-3, 6-2, 5-2. So way too many overs on the road for me to take the under. Seems like Boston on the road, we obviously know they're not good on the road, especially winning games, but also it looks like their defense and goaltending falls off the cliff as well on the road. So lean with the under, especially with how Washington plays, but ultimately with so many games on the slate, gonna pass. LA and New Jersey. LA 3-2 in the last 5 meetings. 4 of the last 5 have gone under 5.5. 1 game went over and finished with 6 goals. The total is 5.5 here in this one. Another pass. LA Kings, New Jersey Devils, 2 teams that I am not looking to back to bet on. If anything, I'm looking to bet against them. Playing each other. We'll take a look at point props. We don't have any because LA played today. But both of these teams do not have consistent offenses. So, again, not looking for props. Lean with the under, but at a 5.5, no interest in betting it there. And Chicago and Vegas. This was a draw that I was very, very close to pulling the trigger on. Ultimately, decided not to. But the home team between Chicago and Vegas, the home team has won 5 of the last 6 meetings. 4 of the last 5 have gone over 6.5. Usually very high scoring games. Back-to-back meetings between the two teams went to overtime. And if you look at the Blackhawks, for their last 5 games, they've gone to overtime. So they've been an overtime machine recently. Vegas, 4 games in a row, they have not gone to overtime. They did go against Detroit before that. We're a really heavy overtime team earlier on in the season, but not as much recently. Both meetings this year, as I said, 4-3 win for Vegas at home in a shootout, 3-2 overtime win for the Blackhawks in January. This game, like I said, I really lean with the draw, but at this point in time, not going to get to it. But obviously, I could see overtime here. Vegas, not necessarily playing well. Chicago, back-to-back wins against Utah. Their other 3 games were losses, the overtime losses to Dallas and Winnipeg. So Chicago probably wishes they could just face Utah 82 times a year. But luckily, that's not the case for them. Frank Nazar, a point in 5 games in a row, plus 100. He is red hot recently. Teuvo Teravainen, 4 of his last 5 games with a point, plus 115. Shea Theodore, 3 of his last 5 games with a point, plus 118. Jack Eichel has scored in 3 games in a row, plus 145. Frank Nazar scored in back-to-back games, 3 of his last 5, plus 360. And Marner scored in 3 of his last 5 games, plus 240. Frank Nazar assists 4 of his last. So Frank Nazar is hot right now. Basically, that's the best way to say it. And he has points in 3 of 4. Sorry, he has assists in 3 of 4 against the Vegas Golden Knights. So Nazar point at plus 100 might make my card. It might make my card, especially with his history against the Vegas Golden Knights. Barbashev has an assist in 3 games in a row. So does Teravainen. Bedard and Theodore have assists in back-to-back games. So quite a few players here with assists recently here in this one. And in the final game of the night, the Seattle Kraken and the Vancouver Canucks. If you guys have watched the show for a long time, you've heard me talk about this series before. Well, obviously, you've heard me talk about a lot of different series, but this one specifically, a very interesting one. The two teams were over pretty much every single game for the first few seasons. First, the Seattle Kraken in the NHL. Some have gone a little bit less so towards the over. Let me take a look at what the number is. It's a 6. Okay, interesting. So looking at a total of 6 between these two teams all time, 13 overs, 2 unders, and 3 pushes. If you are able to get this at a 5.5, 16 of the 18 games between these two teams have gone over 5.5. Seattle struggled at first, but not at all recently. 9-1-2 in the last 12 meetings, 4 of the last 7 going to overtime. So Seattle, Vancouver, high-scoring games, usually Seattle finding a way to win in overtime. Looking at player props here in this one. Point props, nobody really on any kind of streak. So goal streak, assist streaks, again, not a lot of consistency. Vince Dunn has let's see, point. Let's check point. Yeah, Vince Dunn, wow. He has a point in 7 of his last 8 games against Vancouver, 4 multi-point games during that stretch. So Vince Dunn has a point in 3 of his last 4 games. So if I was getting to something here, it would be Vince Dunn. Over half a point, especially with his strong history and, of course, the over history here between these two teams. jump into the comments. Then we'll get quickly to the best bet, and then we'll finish off the show. Kopitar point, maybe 2. He's 2 points out from beating Marcel Dion's point record. Okay. Does he get... who's LA facing again? New Jersey. I don't know if he gets it today. It might take till the next game. But yeah, he'll get there. He'll get there. I hate taking unders, but yeah, this could be an under. Yeah, you're talking about the Boston-Washington or the Devils Kings. I take Boston, but they really... Yeah, you're talking... Okay, yeah, you're talking about that one. Boston. They suck on the road. Yeah, they do. They do. Nazar's getting hot. Good money on anytime goal. Yep. You were right, Mikko. How can I not pronounce his name? Mikko Koivu. The reason I became the Wild fan in the first place, that's his jersey right there too, was the only other player to play 1,000 games for the Wild. 1,028 games to be exact. Perfect. Of course I should know that, Robert. I should. Great show, Terry. Appreciate the work you put in. Thank you, Sweet Pickles. Appreciate you as well. Great show tonight, Terry. As always, have a great weekend. You too, Sean. But before we all head on out, show best bet, which I know has not cashed in a couple shows. Looking at it, again, 2-unit play on the show. So, has to be my best bet. Give me Dallas, team total over 3.5, plus 110. With their heavy history against the Detroit Red Wings, with the fact that they're scoring at least 4 goals almost on a nightly basis right now. And with Detroit, 7 of their last 8 losses, they've given up at least 4. So give me the Dallas Stars, team total over 3.5, plus 110 here in this one for my best bet. Bees in Washington. Yeah, I could see it. But that is today's show. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Bruins Capitals under 6. Kings Devils under 5.5. Hurricanes Lightning over 6.5. And Blue Jackets Flyers under 6. All right. I like the first 3. The fourth one, and then yeah, I agree with you on those. So a lot of totals there for you, Fireside, but I agree with all of them except one. So best of luck. Thanks, Terry. You too, Christophone. Yeah, thank you for watching. If you're looking for premium plays, head over to picksandparlays.net. Link is in the description below. Direct link, pnp.buzz/TE, and get this special or the rest of the season special over on the site. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you guys on the next one.